Alexandra Levine welcomes you to the Alexandra Levine Live Podcast. Today, we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of her upcoming episodes. If you like what Alexandra talks about, then please share the Alexandra Levine Live to others. Alexandra also looks forward to your comments during this episode. Tonight's Alexandra Levine Live Podcast starts now.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with me tonight. Alexandra Levine, we have some breaking news. As you know, Senator Lindsey Graham, he passed away unexpectedly after his trip to the Ukraine. And of course, our condolences go out to him. As we speak tonight, there are different Jewish organizations right now that are having a Zoom because Senator Lindsey Graham was one of the most pro-Israel senators that we've had in the history of our nation. I would say Senator Ted Cruz is right behind him. So right now at around 8 p.m. Eastern on Zoom, in addition to people watching this program, the pro-Israel community, as well as pro-Israel community to this show, is doing a national tribute honoring the life and legacy of Senator Graham, a steadfast ally whose courage and moral clarity made him one of Israel's trusted friends. And as you know, everything went so quickly. So Lindsey Graham passed away. They needed someone to fill in his seat. So President Trump called upon his sister, Mrs. Graham, to fill in for Lindsey Graham. But it didn't go past that it didn't go past further enough. There we go. I'm trying to think of the words. Because President Trump and a lot of people feel that the only person who could really fulfill or continue to fulfill Senator Graham's legacy is his sister, because he literally took care of his sister from when she was a young age, because they both lost their parents when she was just a very young age. So the question was presented to her on an interview with Sean Hannity. Do you feel comfortable running for the actual seat, not just being in there for the interim period, but actually running for the seat? And she said to Sean Hannity, yeah, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. I feel that I need to do it. I feel like I have to do it. I feel like this is what Lindsey would want. And there's some things that she agreed on that he did, some things that she wished she didn't, or wish that he didn't do, but she feels that she needs to continue his legacy and continue the mission that he was put on this earth to do. So I applaud her for stepping up to the plate. I applaud her for getting involved in politics. It's a very, very shaky business. It's a very corrupt business. But anybody that wants to run for a federal office or a local or state office, I give them the highest respects. So I thank his sister for stepping up and taking on this role. I thank his sister for wanting to continue her brother's legacy. And again, our hearts and prayers will go out to Lindsey Graham. As I said before, he was a very, 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 very good ally to Israel, and always wanted peace or always wanted peace in the least, and always actually supported President Trump on what he's doing in Iran. And the next slide is actually a picture of Lindsey Graham with President Trump. There it is. So that's them in the Oval Office. And it's funny because, Lindsey Graham had called him just hours after he touched down to America, told him what a great trip he had, and said, we have the votes to pass the Save America Act, because that's the biggest legislation that really needs to be passed in the Senate, going back to the House of Representatives and so forth. The House of Representatives has already put something together to ensure that the Save America Act is passed in their next budget bill. That's something that we'll talk about later in the program. But again, our hearts go out to Senator Lindsey Graham and his family. Another major breaking news is, Usha Vance, the First Lady Vice President, she was pregnant, and she just had a baby. She had a fourth child, a boy. So let's put up that message. So we're excited to announce that our baby boy, Alec Neil Vance, was born this morning. That was yesterday. Usha and the baby are happy and healthy, and our kids are overjoyed to meet their little brother. This is baby number 4. The incredible military doctors and staff members of Walter Reed Medical Center and the White House Medical Unit have been a blessing. We're deeply thankful for all they have done for our family. And here's a picture of the family with the newborn. That's their daughter, the son, and that's the newborn. And I think that's just adorable. I think that's great to watch. I think that's a wonderful scene. I know there's a bunch of AI memes going on about what the family looks like in the hospital, but this to me is real, and it's a great depiction of brothers and sisters supporting their newborn brother. And I think it's awesome. And actually, they said, I think this is like 150 years since a vice president had a baby in office. So this is a record. This is a total record. The question is Mr. Vance going to continue on in his political stance and his political life, or is he going to maybe take a step back from politics? Maybe hand the reins over to someone else. He's not going to be vice president forever. But, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Marco Rubio's name at the top of the ticket. That's all I have to say. Also, other breaking news that came out. So, unfortunately, 2 American soldiers, they were killed in Jordan unexpectedly. This was not expected. Normally, U.S. soldiers do not get killed in Jordan, but they had been there because they were calming down the situation with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. But they were identified as James Feehan, the age 25, and Isabella Gonzalez, 19. They were identified as the 2 U.S. Army soldiers killed in Jordan while defending against Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks. And I can tell you that President Trump and the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, they retaliated so beautifully against Iran. And nobody will hurt our troops. And if they do kill our troops, they go after them full throttle, they kill them and then some. So, of course, our hearts go out to the Feehan family and the Isabella Gonzalez family. And, it's a sacrifice, and it's also not mandated to go over and to serve our country. But there's always a risk. There's always a chance that when your loved one, your son or daughter goes over there, or your father goes over to Afghanistan or Iran or any of these third world countries, there's always a risk. There's always a chance they could end up dead. So again, we thank them for their service, and we appreciate what they've done in their lives so far. And again, our hearts go out to the families. Now we go into segment 1. So segment 1 focuses, the title is Corruption in Our Own Government. Now, President Trump, he gave not a press conference, but he gave a home address last Thursday night at 9 p.m. talking about election integrity, talking about how there was so much cheating in the 2020 election. And I'll be honest, a lot of us already knew this information, but now we have the evidence to really show the American people, and he declassified that evidence. And as he was speaking, his team was declassifying it. And it proved that China interfered with our elections, but also not only China, but the deep state, which is our government. Deep state means the FBI, the CIA, the ODNI, the DNI. It's disgusting. It's completely disgusting that our own federal government, was a part of installing Joe Otto Penn Biden into the White House. And Barack Hussein Obama was behind this too. President Trump mentioned his name. Now, a lot of people were a little bit perturbed. They were expecting arrests that night, or they were expecting for the call of arrests. But President Trump's not going to tell you who's going to arrest. I mean, people have fallen. Look at Bolton. Look at James Comey. I can tell you that Brennan and Clapper are on the way to go into jail. I can tell you that the number one target is Barack Hussein Obama to go to jail. A lot of people are like, oh, nothing's going to happen to Obama. Something happened to him. There'd be World War III in this country. President Trump's not afraid. He has no fear. These people ruined his life. These people tried to throw him in jail. They convicted him 34 times of the same charge. They paid people like E. Jean Carroll to lie and say that he raped them, that he raped her. They paid all these women off to lie and say that President Trump raped them. I mean, they were going to literally, they threw the kitchen sink at President Trump. If he hadn't won 2024, he'd be in jail today. That's what I think. And then they've been trying to kill him. How many assassination attempts have been on President Trump's life? So I applaud him for going after these people. I know he's going after these people, but you have to have the evidence to go after these people. And President Trump showed clear evidence on that Thursday night about how our elections are not secure. And he specifically said it was corrupt internal election personnel. That's China, that's deep state. That's what corrupt internal election personnel means. It means that a foreign entity or even someone in your own government or in your own country is meddling with the elections. And people are like, oh, it's the machines, it's the voter rolls, we got to clean the voter rolls. It's the corrupt internal election personnel that is allowing dead people to stay on the voter rolls. Cleaning the voter rolls, that's not the main crux of election integrity or to fix election integrity. Okay, yes, we're getting rid of all the dead people, but it's the person, the corrupt internal election personnel person that is keeping their name in the system, that is sending a dead ballot to a home near you, and then somebody's filling it out. And who's the other person filling it out illegally? That is the corrupt internal election personnel person that is filling out that illegal dead ballot. So you can talk all day long about cleaning the voter rolls. And I can tell you that the MDGOP and the RNC of Maryland, they've thrown lawsuits at the Board of Elections, State Board of Elections in Maryland. And we're trying to say that the voter rolls. They have no standing. Their lawsuit keeps getting denied every time, and they know it's going to get denied because they don't have proper evidence. They don't put the proper wording in the lawsuit. But what's even more disgusting is you have people like Mondami and these freaking Nazis and socialists and Marxists in our country that are literally denying foreign leaders the right to be here. And they're literally acting like dictators and acting like they can just break the Constitution and go behind President Trump's back and just make up their own rules. That's where the corruption is. Mondami's the corruption, Ilhan Omar, AOC. These are all corruption. This is all corrupt internal election personnel. The machines are made by man, manufactured by man, controlled by foreign entities, corrupt internal election personnel. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. My friend William Newton proved that corrupt internal election personnel is what hurts our elections. That's why we can't have free and fair elections without having the proper people in place to work on our elections, whether it's ICE, whether it's an engineer, whether it's someone who is heavily vetted and skilled. But when you have like these crazies that are paid astronomical money by George Soros to board up windows or to constantly recount ballots or to constantly pretend that they're or fill out ballots for dead people, yeah, it's a problem. Or backdate ballots like the mail system does. This needs to be called out, needs to be fixed. So let's go to the first slide. The first slide is very disturbing. This is what I was talking about with Mondami, corruption in the government. Remember, he's the mayor, the sitting mayor of New York City. Corruption, how he got in. Corrupt internal election personnel, how he got in. Bibi Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America. The reason that President Trump says that is because Zohar Mondami, he said if Bibi Netanyahu comes to the country, he will arrest him through the ICC, which has no jurisdiction. By the way, the ICC is a corrupt organization run by George Clooney's wife, Amal Clooney, to lie and say that Netanyahu committed war crimes and killed innocent people and all this crap, and says if he comes to any certain country that they'll arrest him. And Zohar Mondami knows he doesn't have the power to do this. He knows that if he does do it, he'll be in deep trouble. So again, President Trump said Netanyahu is fighting against the Islamic Republic of Iran, which recently killed 52,000 innocent protesters. And has spent the last 47 years killing American soldiers and others. The only ones that should be arrested are the people that led Iran into this unprecedented spiral of death and destruction, something that should have been dealt with years ago by previous presidents, President Donald J. Trump. And I agree with him. I couldn't agree with him. I couldn't agree with him more. Why arrest Netanyahu? Netanyahu's the problem here? Netanyahu is actually the solution. And I know there's a lot of people that hate the Israeli government. I don't understand why. Please explain to me why. Why do you think the Israeli government is so corrupt? You guys claim that they demand money from us. They don't. They're actually trying to be more independent from us. They're our biggest ally. We work with them regardless. They help us with technology and central intelligence. They give us a lot of stuff, but they're the problem. How is Netanyahu the problem? Now, there's an election coming up in November, which I heard that Naftali Bennett, who was the prime minister before, is trying to get himself back in. But the party Likud, which is run by Netanyahu, he's got the votes. They're leading. I don't think it's wise right now to put in a new prime minister. But we'll see what the people of Israel say. Netanyahu is going through a sham trial right now because the stupid President Herzog of Israel will not pardon him. President Herzog doesn't care. He's just allowing this sham trial to go ahead, full steam ahead. But again, why are we allowing our local officials to crap on our biggest ally, Israel, the prime minister. They don't say this about the new prime minister of England, who just got sworn in. They don't say this about presidents of other countries. They always target Netanyahu, target the Jew, let's target the Jewish prime minister, why don't we? And that's coming from Zohar Mandami, who's an anti-Semite, freaking Islamic person who has massive connections to Hamas and Al-Aqsa's Martyr Brigade, Islamic Jihad, and so forth. And he's calling for the arrest of the prime minister. My question to you is, let's say Netanyahu was arrested. Or actually, let's say Netanyahu comes to this country. What person that works for the NYPD would allow that to happen? What person from the NYPD, law enforcement, would actually arrest Netanyahu? It would not look good for that guy. It would not look good for whoever arrested Netanyahu. But again, why shit on the Jews? Why are you crapping on the Jews? What did the Jews do to you but just survive and live? Right now, as we speak tomorrow night, we're going to be celebrating a very solemn holiday called Tisha B'Av, where we fast. Tisha B'Av represents the destruction of the second and third temples of Jerusalem. It's a very sad, solemn day. Those were our temples that were destroyed. But there's a reason why they were destroyed. Hashem was sending us a message. You guys are too greedy. You guys want too much. You guys ask for too much. So it was a test. And he told everyone to look back, not to look back. If you look back, you turn into sand like Lot's wife did. To keep going. If you see the destruction of the temples, you don't even watch. You just keep on going. But Lot's wife didn't listen. And as a result, she turned into sand. Tisha B'Av is a testament to ourselves for redemption. That's what we as Jews do every day. We pray for our sins. We believe in redemption. We believe in forgiveness. That's what Yom Kippur is about. We're very forgivable people. We believe in redemption. We repent for our sins every day. But yet, we're not the ones committing the sin, but yet Zohar Mamdani, who is asking for the prime minister's arrest. Go figure. Let's put up the next slide. So this one's really interesting by @real Donald Trump. Every time Iran kills an American soldier, and I said this before, they will pay for that killing many times over. This directive has been passed on to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Daniel Raisin Kane, and every leader in the military. Basically, shoot to kill. If any time an Iranian kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. And that's what Trump did. After these 2 soldiers from Jordan were murdered by Iranians, Trump worked with Pete Hegseth and Daniel Kane and retaliated hardcore. And remember, Americans and Israelis, we don't kill innocent people. That's what the Islamists do. They use their children and pregnant women as shields. Americans don't do that. Neither do the Israelis. Israelis actually keep their women and children safe. They don't want to use them as human shields. And even in the IDF, they keep the women safe. They don't put the women like in harm's way, like right on enemy lines. They don't do that. They try to keep the women safe as possible because they don't want to get raped, etc. But everyone's pissed off that this war is still going on. President Trump's the only person that can actually do something about it. For 47 years, we've been asking for regime change in Iran. Again, it is still up to the Iranian people to take their country over and put Reza Pahlavi in there as a crown prince. Reza's waiting. He said he's in transition. He's ready to go. Iranian people need to get on board, need to take their country back and gain some freedom. Let's go to the next slide. So President Trump is actually, this has to do with the Save America Act. He's thanking our great speaker, Mike Johnson, the House Budget Chairman, Jackie Arrington, the members of the House Budget Committee, including Lloyd Smucker, Ron Estes, Andrew Clyde, Josh, I'm going to totally butcher these names, Rasheen, Henry Hogan, Mike Carey, Blake Moore, Jay Obernolt, Tim McClintock, and many others for launching an effort to get as much of the Save America Act as possible in a budget bill. That's what I said earlier, along with aid to our incredible farmers and funding for our military. We need I always screw this up. Voter photo ID. See, I just say photo ID. We need voter photo ID identification, proof of citizenship, and hopefully no corrupt mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. I'm asking all House Republicans to vote yes this week on the budget resolution, which is an important first step towards getting a budget bill. House Republicans must unify and fight for the Save America Act. I agree with this. We don't know if Mitch McConnell is dead or alive. Senator, John Thune is MIA. He's bought and paid for he's Mitch McConnell light. I applaud Mike Johnson for stepping up here with others to push even a sliver of it into the budget bill. The Save America Act it's the way that we can see the legalities of our elections. It's a more, they say it's a more secure way for free and fair elections. Now, there's some people that say it doesn't go further enough. Again, corrupt internal election personnel, get rid of all the machines, paper ballots all the way. Freaking hand count the ballots if you have to. France does that, and they get done right away. I wish the state of Florida would get rid of all the machines, all the scanners. The scanners aren't good either. The scanners screw up your ballot too. There's always scanner issues. And never vote electronically. I tell all my friends, especially in Maryland, do not vote electronically because that will screw you too. You think you're voting on a Republican ballot, and then it automatically switches to a Democrat ballot. It's crazy. But seriously, guys, this is important stuff because the Republicans are not going to win the midterms if it's like this. Now, I know that President Trump is doing everything he can to make sure that the Republicans do win the midterms. That's why he is having a RNC convention in September, which is unheard of, which I think is fabulous, to rally everybody up, get the RNC excited. I mean, the RNC has a lot of money because of President Trump. The Republican Party in general has $1 billion. They have a lot of money. They're hoarding the cash because they want to see what their cash is going to do and how it's going to be effective. They also want to see what the Democrats are going to do. But they have money. Believe me, they have money to win. And from what I'm hearing, they are going to win. But we have to stick together to unify. We have to have high Republican turnout in these primaries and in these general elections, even if it's a presidential year or not. The primary in Maryland that I just finished with my friend Tim Fazenmaker, who's now the Republican nominee, had the lowest turnout in the history of Maryland for any primary, the lowest turnout. We can't have a low turnout for the general, especially in Tim's district. Tim's district has to have a high Republican turnout. We found out that Tim's district actually during the primary had the highest Republican turnout. Just his district alone, nobody else's. They were struggling in other, quote, Republican districts, but Tim's district had the most Republican turnout in the primary. They were all excited to vote for Tim. It was great. But that's just one district. We need it nationwide, because if not, we're going to get screwed, totally screwed. Speaking of elections, let's go to this next slide. So I want everybody's opinion on this. So this is from Aretz Sheva, which is a more conservative Israeli news outlet. I love Aretz Sheva. So Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg at Boca Raton Synagogue has urged members of the congregation to register as Democrats ahead of Florida's primary election in an effort to help incumbent Congressman Jared Moskowitz, who's Jewish, defeat anti-Israel candidate Oliver Larkin. Goldberg said the initiative is aimed at preventing Larkin from winning the Democratic nomination, citing the candidate's positions on Israel as a major concern. More details in the comments. Well, my question to my viewers is, do you think this is a smart move? Do you think that Republican Jews in this district should change their party to Democrat to vote for Moskowitz in the primary? Because in Florida, we have closed primaries. And then you can switch yourself back to Republican in the general when the general comes around. Now, Florida has a very late primary. Florida's primary is August 18th. So the window to change is it's a small window, and then to change back is even smaller. In my opinion, Jews should be Republican. Jews shouldn't be Democrat, period. And in my opinion, if Mr. Moskowitz can't rally up his base to vote for him, especially against an anti-Israel candidate, Jewish people shouldn't have to switch their party. If he can't get his own Democrat Jewish base to vote for him, or even a Christian Democrat base to vote for him, then he's no damn good. Because the thing is, when you switch your party now to Democrat, you're saying that you're part of the socialists, the communists, the Marxists, the Nazis that are in that party. And you can say, well, I'm doing it because I don't want the anti-Israel guy in. But you know what? At the end of the day, a Democrat is a Democrat is a Democrat is a Democrat. And the Democrats all stick together and work together. Now, yes, there is the far left version of the Democrat Party now, with the Graham Plattners of the world. But again, it is up to Jared Moskowitz to rally his base. It should not be the job of the Jew or the job of the voter to switch their party for him. Because there's a reason why Republican Jews are Republican Jews. They want to vote for the Republican candidate. By them switching, it screws up whatever good Republican candidate we have against Mr. Moskowitz, regardless if people think he's going to win again or not. And if Mr. Moskowitz feels he can't win as a Democrat, then why doesn't he split parties himself and become a Republican or independent? It should not be the voters' responsibility to change parties for him, to make it convenient for him. It is his job as the incumbent, especially, to go and talk to his voters. Also, I'm not a big fan of rabbis spewing out politics at the pulpit. He's literally, quote, converting or trying to convert or proselytizing to his Jewish congregants to hashtag switch parties. Now, I work for the organization hashtag Jexit, which is the total opposite. We hashtag Jexit Jews from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party, and we combat anti-Semitism. And our movement has been very, very good. And some of those Jared Moskowitz voters switched from Democrat to Republican because of my organization. But the push should be for Jared Moskowitz to go to his Democrat Jewish base, have them vote in drones for him in the primary, and then have the Republican Jews vote for him in the general. If he can do it that way, if he has the ability to cross over. Now, I can tell you, there was a Jewish group in Maryland called Vayad that was calling all Republican Jews to switch their party to Democrats and vote for Dalia Tar against this guy, Malcolm Duff, who is, he's a state senator, he's a state delegate. And guess what? It didn't work. First of all, she had a big scandal against her, and it didn't work. And she's much more moderate than he is. And the Jewish Republicans, they did not want to flip parties because they didn't want to be affiliated with the progressiveness of the Democrat Party. Because again, when you switch your party, yeah, you inside are like, well, I'm not really this. But to the outside world, you're affiliating yourself with this. I would never switch Democrat, ever. Ever. Not even to run for office, I wouldn't do that. We had somebody who tried to do this. His name was Governor Charlie Crist. He was a Republican governor in Florida, then switched to independent and became a Democrat. And people were like, what? And he lost very badly against my governor, Ron DeSantis, in Ron's reelection campaign because of all the flip-flopping. Nobody knew what he was. Was he really a Democrat all this time? Was he an independent? Like, who the hell is he? So again, a question to my audience. Do you think this is a good idea? If you're in a more liberal area, do you think this is a good idea? Again, I'm not a fan of rabbis converting or proselytizing their congregants to, quote, hashtag leave their political party. That's not what a rabbi is about. A rabbi is a teacher. A rabbi is supposed to teach us about things that are in the Torah, the Parshan of the week, how to be a good husband, how to be a good Jewish wife, about Judeo values. They're not supposed to talk politics or even bring up politics on the pulpit. They're not supposed to swing either way with politics. They definitely shouldn't be attacking Donald Trump or Netanyahu on their pulpit, which I've heard before. Look, I studied to become a Hazan, a cantor. I took rabbinic studies. I would never bring up religion not religion. I would never bring up political topics at the synagogue. I'm not there for that. I'm there to lead the service. A rabbi is a teacher, is a leader. You're supposed to lead. This is not leading the charge. President Trump is the head of the Republican Party. He's the president of the United States. Let him lead on the political side. You do your job as a rabbi and lead your people to the promised land, lead them to a life of Judaism and Jewish life and making sure your congregants marry Jewish and have Jewish children. That's your job as a rabbi of an Orthodox shul. That is your job. Stick to it. And last but not least, this slide from Libs of TikTok. This, oh my God, this cracks me up. Maine Democrat Senate candidate Ashley Webb, a man pretending to be a woman, says he menstruates through his colon. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can a man have a period, guys? Seriously? I want to know. If you're a man, I have men mostly that watch my show. Have you ever gotten a period? I want to know. I want to know how a man can get a period. I'm really curious because this person claims that they bleed through their behind and that's a period. No, that's called popping a hemorrhoid. You bleed through your butt when you pop a hemorrhoid. That's not a period. Okay? You're bleeding out of your butt if you have colon problems, which maybe this Democrat senator candidate does. Yeah. Yep. It's true. Men cannot have a period. That's very true. Men cannot have a period. Mm-hmm. Nope. But I don't know. According to this quote woman, he can. I mean, if you're bleeding out of your butt through your colon, maybe you need to get something called a colonoscopy. Yeah. Don Willinger, I'm 75 and I've never had a period. It's good. And Don Willinger is a man. I don't think my producer's ever had a period either. Her menstruation does not have the right color. It's funny. I mean, I guess I've had periods. They don't feel good. Okay. Sometimes women's periods are so bad they have to be out of work for a couple days because they have cysts on their ovaries or fibroids that make your period hurt. But let me tell you something. If you're a man, you don't want a period. Sometimes I wish that I was a man so I didn't have to have a period. I shouldn't say that because then people think I'm a man. I'm becoming a man. But that candidate is a joke. Now, the candidate that they did finally pick to replace Plattner is another joke. The guy was arrested for bank fraud and sexual misconduct. I mean, he's just as worse, just as bad as Plattner. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is the best that the Democrat Party can do in Maine, or the Democrat Party in general. I guess so. They get these people that are that have committed fraud and sexual assault and rape and molestation. I mean, man, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, I thought I saw it all in politics, but this beats the cake. I mean, this tops the cake, I should say. I mean, this is crazy. I never thought in my lifetime, never, that I would see such characters that they put up in the Democrat Party. That's why, again, if you are a Republican Jew and you're thinking about switching your party, you're going to be involved in this. You're going to be with transgenders, men that think they get periods, a guy who is a sex trafficker, human trafficker, commits bank fraud, welfare fraud, mortgage fraud, every type of fraud alive, and commits sexual assault. He's a rapist. He's a pedophile. I mean, that's what the Democrat Party has become. Also, you'll be accused of being an Islamic terrorist because there's Islamists that hate America, that hate Jews, that are in the Democrat Party. So be very careful when you, quote, want to switch your party. Because when you switch your party, you're involved with all of that. Don't think that you're not, because you are. Unbelievable, geez. Well, before we go to our break, don't forget our sponsor, FoliumPX.com. That's FoliumPX.com. Toxic heavy metals, full body detox. This is great right after 4th of July. If you have other parades going on, everybody's away for the summer. I know people are going away to Europe, Israel. You got to detox. Also, this was very good if you were in an area with the fires. I was in Ohio, and oh my God, we got so much. I mean, breathing this crap in is really bad for your lungs. So a lot of people died after 9/11. So if you want a full body detox, if you were exposed to that smoke out there, or if you're in Canada, go to FoliumPX.com. Take these supplements. They're super antioxidants. It will detox you. It will refresh you. It will help your body. It will boost your immune system. These are great supplements. I take them all the time. This is great for weight loss, great for fertility. Love this product. Go to FoleyMPX.com. There's massive amounts of discounts going on right now. That's the QR code. And stick with us. We are live. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Alexandra Levine Live. We are all in tonight with Alexandra Levine on the America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are currently live on about 15 different channels. We're on Rumble, we're on X, we're on YouTube, we're on Substack, Spotify, Parler, Facebook, you name it, we're on there. You can actually go to americaspulsenetwork.com, our website, and watch us live. If you're interested in sponsoring, you can fill out our sponsorship application. And that can be if you want to sponsor my show, Damon's show, or the entire network, or the Pulse. Also, if you would like to be another podcaster on our network, you can go to americaspulsenetwork.com, fill out the podcaster application. So segment 2, I had to switch it up. We were supposed to have a guest tonight, but she will be on Thursday night. She's actually a returning guest, my good friend, Julie Spivey Perry. So segment 2 talks about the bridge of power. The bridge of power, what could that mean? Well, let's see. We're dealing with a bridge collapse in Maryland, the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge, which collapsed like 2 years ago. And of course, Governor Westmore has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to repair or start the repair of that bridge. Some people say it won't be rebuilt until 2030. Me personally, I predict that it won't be rebuilt until 2034, to be honest with you, because right now they're like at square one. They don't even have a developer. They had a developer, and freaking Westmore demanded $5 billion from the developer. And then, the developer was like, well, you need this, you need this, you need this. So then Governor Westmore was like, yeah, forget it. It was only supposed to be a $1.7 billion project. It had to go from 1.7 to 5 billion. Oh, because Governor Westmore added a bunch of stuff. He added so much stuff that I said, well, Maryland can't pay for that. Federal government's supposed to come in and pay for it. And we're hoping that the federal government will come pay for it. Federal government's willing to pay for it, not the whole freaking thing. But you have Governor Westmore, who's greedy, and Joe Biden said he would pay for the whole thing. So, of course, Westmore is trying to nudge President Trump and the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, to pay for the whole freaking thing. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. You're not the only bridge in the world. And it's not Trump's fault that your damn bridge collapsed. It's your fault. And what are you doing to solve the problem, Westmore? Nothing. And the traffic on I-695 and I-95, because I drive it in Maryland, when you go to Baltimore County, is insane. When you go to Dundalk, when you go to Sparrows Point, when you go up to Bel Air, Towson, I mean, if you don't cross that bridge, you're literally sitting in traffic for an hour and a half to 2 hours when it's only supposed to take like 30 minutes. And when the bridge was open, 34,000 cars went back and forth every day on that bridge. But again, when are we going to see the bridge? When is it happening? But what I love about, this next segment is we're going to talk about the shifts here of power. Let's put up the first slide of real Donald Trump. So real Donald Trump, he said rich people and companies are pouring out of Democrat-run blue states like Chicago, Illinois, at levels never seen before. If this trend continues, these states will become, quote, the ghettos of the future. No people, no money, no hope. Make America great again. And then he writes, across the nation, Trump's long-predicted high-tax exodus has a Midwest sequel. And I agree with him. I know so many people that have literally moved from liberal states into more conservative states, red states, because they can't afford to live in all of these areas. But the fact that rich people and companies are pouring out of Democrat-run blue states, it's because the rich people that own these companies, they're losing money too. Look at McCormick in Maryland. They're going to pull out. There's a big, rich company. I always call it Unilever, but it's not Unilever. It's, it starts with a U. It'll come to me later. It's a big company out of Maryland. They do underwear, Under Armour. Thank you. It came to my brain. Under Armour is a huge company in Maryland. They're pulling out. Different sports teams like the Washington Capitals and basketball teams and hockey teams, they pulled out of Maryland because the cost is too expensive. And Illinois is going to lose a lot. But people that have owned big companies, like, for example, like Ken Griffin, he lived up north and he moved down to Florida and he's thriving. More rich people that are moving to southern states, like Elon Musk, for example, he moved his entire headquarters from California to Texas. Ben Shapiro moved everything from California to Texas, to Nashville, Tennessee, and he has a home in Boca Raton, Florida. They don't pay state income tax. They don't pay corporate tax. They don't pay sales tax. And the gas is cheaper. That's right. My friend Don Williger from Texas, he says, Texas welcomes those who don't want to pay state income tax. Yeah, Texas is great. But it's insane. It's insane what's going on. But this is what I mean when I say the bridges of power. This guy, this freaking governor Pritzker from Illinois, he lies and says that his state is safe, that his state is great, no problems, no murder problems, no crime problems, safe to live here, cost of living here is great. Yeah, right. I remember 10 years ago, Detroit went bankrupt and they still can't recover. So many people lost jobs at Ford and General Motors. People from Ohio are moving down to Florida. People from the Midwest are moving down to Florida and Texas. People from New Hampshire are moving down to Florida. People from Vermont, Rhode Island. Those are all liberal states besides Ohio that I mentioned. But it's the truth. It's the truth. And don't be afraid to call it out. I call it out all the time. But if rich people and companies have to leave the states that they built a livelihood in for a state that can help them produce more money for them, why not? And these governors, like Governor Westmore and Governor Pritzker and Governor Whitmer and Senator Elizabeth Warren, should all be ashamed of themselves. And Senator Bernie Sanders should all be ashamed of themselves for not listening to the people and working against the people. And it's funny, they put money in their own pockets, but it's like they rob from the rich and give to the poor, but they don't care for the poor. They just keep robbing people of their rights. They keep robbing people of their businesses. They keep robbing people of their free will, to the point where they want everybody on Medicaid and food stamps. That's what happened under the Obama administration. Obama collected all of the money and he made we, the American people, suffer. Disgusting. But there's one guy that actually kind of, I think, likes President Trump, maybe even voted for him. Bill Clinton. Let's put up that meme. So Bill Clinton's walking around in a red, looks like a MAGA hat to me. Red 42. President Trump has a red MAGA hat, 45 and 47. And it's funny, in the video, it shows Hillary Clinton so embarrassed and humiliated to stand next to her husband wearing this red hat. She heavily walks away from him. She looks like a mushroom, by the way. She's wearing a black and white striped shirt. I guess she got off her Ozempic. She's very heavy. And she's walking away from Bill because she's embarrassed and humiliated to stand next to him. But look, I mean, that looks like he's wearing a MAGA hat to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he voted for Donald Trump in 2024. I would not be surprised. And he was the one that told his wife to go to the Rust Belt, to go to Michigan, to go to Wisconsin and campaign there in 2016. He said, Trump is doing well there. He's going to win those states. You haven't gotten your butt up there. And she didn't listen to him. And let me tell you something. When Steve Bannon brought all of his women that he sexually assaulted at that second debate, oh my God, that was brilliant. That turned everything around. That turned the whole debate around. That turned the whole country around. Trump's numbers went up. But hey, Bill Clinton, I mean, I'll give it to him. Governor of Arkansas, Southern state. No, he's not a dumb guy. He sees the light. He sees the MAGA hat. He sees that he can't outdo MAGA. He sees that he can't run away from MAGA. He sees that he can't run away from America First either. So it's like that saying, if you can't beat him, join him. Looks like he's joining Trump there. I want to know your thoughts. I mean, the guy is still a sleazeball in the slime. But remember, we saw during the campaign trail that Joe Biden put a MAGA hat on his head in front of Trump supporters at an event. It was hilarious. Is this dementia for Bill Clinton? Or does he really appreciate the red? Remember, Dr. Jill Biden wore a red suit on Election Day in 2024. I can tell you, they did not vote for Kamala Harris. They voted for Donald Trump. She wore that red suit for a reason, because Kamala Harris screwed her and her husband with Barack Hussein Obama. That was the real underlining story. Dr. Jill Biden, by wearing a red suit on Election Day, was making a statement to vote red. I wholeheartedly believe that. But this is hilarious. I think this is so funny to see this. It's so funny. So let's see. So let's put up, the next slide. So this is actually kind of funny. So there's a Facebook group called Marco Rubio Images. You have to follow the group. It's hilarious. So, as the saying goes, anytime, somebody loses their job, or anytime somebody loses a seat, Marco Rubio, he takes the position on, because he's a guy that can do multiple different things, and he's in multiple different hats. So this one is funny. Rubio is suited up and ready to talk with Mitch McConnell. And as you know, that's a picture of him being a Ghostbuster. If you ever saw the movie Ghostbusters, that's the example of the uniform that they wear. So here's a second meme of Marco Rubio. So this had to do with the scandal of the teleprompter. Remember the teleprompter operator? He made money off of selling the teleprompts of President Trump's speech. He did like insider trading, and he made like $100,000, and the Trump administration found out. Of course, they fired him with unpaid leave. But, now we need a new teleprompter operator, so why not hire Marco Rubio? So Marco Rubio has just been named as the new teleprompter operator, and it says, President Trump is the greatest president in American history. Everyone agrees, believe me. Let's put up the second meme, or the next meme. So this is Marco Rubio being the bull. So there was a big story in Yellowstone Park. There was a guy that was like, being chased by a bull, and you actually see the guy being like, he actually, the bull actually comes close to him, where the guy flies. Like, I hope he's not dead, but he flew over, like you can see it. It's like he jumped up and he flew and hit himself on the ground pretty hard, and the bull was still kind of like messing around with him. So, now we need a new bull. So why don't we have Marco Rubio be the bull? It's so funny. Let's put up the next image. So this one's even more funnier. So as you know, the USA, they lost to Belgium in the World Cup. And let me tell you something, the World Cup, I haven't watched the World Cup. This was a phenomenal World Cup. If you never watched the World Cup, it's once every 4 years. It was phenomenal. The USA, in my opinion, really put up a good fight. I mean, USA is not known for soccer. It's normally the Central American and South America teams that are known for it. And Spain actually ended up winning the World Cup over Argentina. But to watch this was so incredible. To see President Trump there for the FIFA finale, or the FIFA finale, was just awesome. And then, of course, he ended up giving the trophy to Spain in the end. I mean, and his whole family was there too. And they had the World Cup in the United States. And it was funny because President Trump said, when I win in 2024, the World Cup's going to be in America. This is going to be in America. We're hosting the Olympics. It's like it was meant to be. It's like there was a reason why President Trump had to win in 2024 so he could be present. And also he talked about how we were going to be celebrating the 250 years of America. So it was like there was a reason why he was put in, or there's a reason why he was reelected, I should say. So this is hoping for a great game. But Marco Rubio is ready to step in as a referee for the USA/Belgium game tonight. He can hand out yellow or red cards to any player who unfairly targets Balagoon, which is the American. So it's just these really funny memes. Let's put up I think this is the last one. This is the one that's so hilarious. So as you know, there was a story where a Blue Angels guy, kind of like a Top Gun dude, they said that he swooped down a little bit too low in the flybys. And people on the Pensacola Beach were kind of freaking out, not the flybys, the flyovers. And they were freaking out. And they're like, oh, he went too low. He was reckless. And of course, the press said to Pete Hegseth, what are we going to do about these Blue Angels? What are you going to do with the flyovers? And he's like, the flyovers are going to continue. Like, look into the situation with the guy, but the flowers aren't stopping. So it's showing that Marco Rubio is taking over the opposing solo slot for the Blue Angels following the recent low pass in Pensacola. So again, these are really funny memes. It's Marco Rubio images. It's on Facebook. You got to follow this Facebook group. This is so funny. I was like hysterically laughing last night. I like just to see all of them was hilarious. And it's so fun. It's so fun. My friend Jorge said, I always watched the World Cup since at least 1978. It was hard to Oops, we cut out for 5 seconds. But yeah, so it was great. It was really great. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay, I can see your chats again. But yeah, I mean, it was really fun. I mean, our friend Jorge is from Argentina. So, I mean, like I said, I was never a big soccer fan, but watching the World Cup this time, I'll be watching it every 4 years. And then last and not least, before we go to our break, we have a breaking news slide. Nope, it's after those. There we go. So Mickey Sherrill, who's the new governor of New Jersey, who we don't like, so she revealed more than 6,000 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey by, quote, software error, which means a glitch. This biatch knew that there was cheating in her election for governor. She had to say something because she doesn't want to get sued. And I guess she's hoping to win re-election. And of course, President Trump came out with all of the data saying there was like 18 liberal states, including New Jersey, that were part of the fraud. So now she's coming out like she cares about election integrity. Oh my God, more than 6,000 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. What have you done, Mickey Sherrill? You're a congresswoman. What have you done? What have you done to fix this problem? You've done absolutely nothing. You care about nothing. Yeah, I agree with my candidate, with my producer. What about the close to a million other votes? Yeah, it's true. What about them? Will they just show up somewhere? Hard drive? No, all mass produced. Again, corrupt internal election personnel. Corrupt people manufacture ballots. They redo them. They resurface them. Remember 2,000 Mules by Dinesh D'Souza? How there's like one person that puts in like 50 mail-in ballots at a time? This crap is real. This stuff is real, and we cannot poo-poo it. It's very real. And I want you guys to really understand how real this is. Yeah, everyone tries to claim software. It's true. It's a hoax. But we're getting to the bottom of this. We need to get to the bottom of this, and we need to pass the Save America Act. Now, before we go on our break, don't forget my second sponsor, rncstore.com/ALL, rncstore.com/ALL. That's the QR code directly to get your discount. You get 10% off everything you see there. There's lots of great supplements that help with immunity, prevention against cancer. If you have cancer, it's very good to detox. Again, everything that all my sponsors are all about is detox. So the more that you detox, the better it is to reduce cancers and so forth and help build your immunity. And it's a natural health supplement to improve your wellness. John Richardson's been traveling over the country. He wrote a book. He's been on my show multiple times. But please, guys, get these supplements. I take them. They're great, awesome supplements. Yeah, I want him back on my show too, but he's been touring across the country. So whenever he gets a chance, we'll let you know. But please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. Again, guys, we are live. Please like and subscribe to us on YouTube, Rumble, Substack, Spotify, Parler, TikTok, True Social, at America's Pulse Network. Please, guys, we appreciate you liking and subscribing. And please continue to share and reshare and repost and retruth our shows. Our shows actually do very well when we restream them all the time, or we stream them on multiple different outlets multiple times. The beauty is somebody can be watching us on literally YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok all at the same time, which is awesome. I love that. So please, guys, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Well, guys, thanks for sticking with us. I'm Alexandra Levine, live with the America's Pulse Network. Segment 3 says, quote, "Don't eat the lettuce." As you know, there was a huge outbreak in multiple different states. It started in Michigan. Now it's in Ohio, of course, where I live. It's in Maryland. It's all over the Midwest and even, some parts in Florida and in the South about the lettuce. And what we're finding is actually it was lettuce that was imported from Mexico that ended up at a Taco Hell, I call it Taco Hell. And many people that ate at the Taco Bell or any Taco Bell near them got very, very sick. What we're finding is it's iceberg lettuce that has been doing the trick for this, I call it ulcer colitis, but I forgot the name of it, but it's really, really bad. And it's true. Kosher people, yeah. If you look at my kosher site, you'll see, yeah. So I keep kosher. The Jews, I'll be honest, the Jews do it well in regards to keeping everything clean. I would recommend you going on a kosher diet, everybody, because the way that we clean the lettuce, we make it very clean. I personally, I have a very weak stomach. I was told by my doctor not to eat lettuce for a while, not to eat fruit for a while, because it's certain fruits like berries, which I love, like strawberries, cherries, raspberries, they've been affected, cilantro, scallions, they've all been affected by what's going on. And of course, there was a report that it was Taylor Farms to blame. Of course, Taylor Farms like, no, it wasn't us. And then they said it was this lettuce made from Mexico. But if you have a sensitive stomach like me, or Crohn's disease, or autoimmune, or gastrointestinal issues, or if you have hemorrhoids, I would not oh my God, I would not even eat anything that they say, I wouldn't eat any of this stuff. Like, I would not eat lettuce right now. I would not eat a lot of berries right now or fruit. I would not eat cilantro. I would not eat anything that the CDC or the FDA tells you not to eat. Let's put up the first slide. Oh, crap. Okay. I totally forgot. I already did all the slides. Oh, God. I was going to talk. Yeah. This was not the slide that I wanted. No. There we go. Thank you, Damon. Okay. So the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is reversing its earlier conclusion that lettuce from Taylor Farms was the source of it's called Cyclospora parasite outbreak that has sickened more than 1,600 people with severe gastrointestinal illnesses. Like, you literally get violent diarrhea from this. Due to the complexity and detection of Cyclospora, FDA laboratory experts reviewed the sample results. I've concluded the finding does not represent true amplification and should be considered a false positive. As of Sunday, the FDA said there was no confirmed positive food samples for Cyclospora. Taylor Farms said the FDA apologized to the company after determining the initial test result was incorrect. So they were saying that Taylor Farms was the source of the parasite, and now they're finding out that it wasn't. It was this lettuce from Mexico. But again, if you're like a neurotic nut like I am, if you have gastrointestinal issues like I do, you do not want to get this. It's violent diarrhea. You really can't go anywhere. You lose a lot of weight from it though. But it's like a stomach flu, 20, stomach flu times 20. It'll hurt your stomach. You'll get such cramps. And again, if you suffer from hemorrhoids, your hemorrhoids will get worse by constantly being on the toilet and crapping all day. You don't want this. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. You do not want this. So, like I said, if you're eating lettuce, if you're going to a Taco Hell, I would advise against it. Also, what is the thing that is a parasital dewormer that you can take prophylactically? Something called ivermectin, which I've been taking. I recommend everybody take ivermectin prophylactically. It is a parasital dewormer as well as wormwood. Wormwood is actually a form of ivermectin if you can't get ivermectin. I get ivermectin from allfamilypharmacy.com. That is the website that Sean Hannity and Mark Levin use, and Bill O'Reilly actually used it, and Glenn Beck. So allfamilypharmacy.com, you can get ivermectin. It's based on weight. It can go from 3 milligrams to 6 milligrams to 12 milligrams, depending on your weight. You take one a day. That's all you need. And you can take it for about a week. You don't need to take it forever, but you can take it prophylactically. If you did eat lettuce or if you did eat something that was a no-no, I would advise you to take it right away. But definitely get some ivermectin, get some wormwood, start taking it because it's a parasital dewormer. That's what it does. You don't need an antibiotic, just take some ivermectin. So we'll go back to the first slide, the David Harris Jr. slide. No. Yeah, that one. Okay. So this one's very important because this has to do with health too. So federal criminal charges have been dropped against Utah plastic surgeon Dr. Michael Kirk Moore Jr. The Department of Justice abruptly halted the case mid-trial. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi ordered Utah prosecutors to dismiss all charges in the, quote, interest of justice. Bondi stated that Dr. Moore gave his patients a choice when the federal government refused to do so and did not deserve prison time. The original allegations involved issuing nearly 2,000 fake CDC vaccination cards, administering saline shots to children at parents' request, destroying over $28,000 worth of government COVID vaccines, and related financial fraud. He had faced up to 35 years in prison. This development happened in mid-July 2025. It's great to remember these victories. So I applaud Pam Bondi for this. As you know, during that time, during COVID, it was like, get the jab. If you don't get the jab, you lose your job. But also, the doctor has to do what's best for the patients. And if he felt that giving the child, not giving the child or the kid the COVID vaccine, he gave them something else instead, or he advised them against it. And of course, as you know, we couldn't, in certain states, you couldn't go anywhere without a vaccination card, such as New York and so forth. I'm surprised that this was such a big deal in Utah because Utah is a very Republican state. And it's Mormon. It's a Mormon state. So I'm surprised that Mormons would be pushing, the CDC vaccinations, but or that the more I would say that that not the Mormons, but I'm surprised that like the Utah government would push this, because I know that Senator Lee would be totally against this, and so would Mitt Romney. But I mean, like I said, kudos to Pam Bondi for doing this. And what we're finding now is a lot of doctors that lost their licenses because they wouldn't give out the vaccines, or a lot of people that went to prison because they didn't want to take the vaccines. Guess what? They're getting justice. They're getting their licenses back. They're getting their life back. They're getting money back. They're getting restitution. I mean, what happened to these people? What happened to everybody during the COVID time was awful. I mean, my opera career went to hell because I decided not to take the jabs to death. It's like on the jabs to death, because I knew in my heart I didn't need it. All my doctors told me I didn't need it. I did get COVID really bad in 2022 and I got over it. I didn't end up in a hospital, thank God. I got the monoclonal antibody treatment, which saved my life. I got it a second time 6 months later, and I got like the what's called the Omicron, which was like a very small variant. I had it for like 3 days and I was fine. I went to like a cave. I went to like a bath salt cave, which really helped. It opened up my sinuses. It really helped reduce my cough. I had a very bad cough for like over a month. But unfortunately I had to go through all that and get really sick like that, to build my immune system. I mean, getting COVID builds your immune system. I have a very, my immune system is very built up, thank God. And I take prophylactic things all the time. I take hydroxychloroquine, I take ivermectin, so I don't have to worry about things like this. But it's very important, guys, that you don't stop fighting. Don't stop fighting for yourself and for your health. Let's just pick a slide. Yeah, there you go. Wonderful news. I've just been informed that Giant Eagle, a great American grocery company, will be lowering prices by a lot across more than 300 products this summer through Labor Day to help hardworking American families. Giant Eagle, and I go to Giant Eagle, like Walmart, is stepping up in a big and bold way to answer my call to lower costs for working families. We will continue to bring prices down, just like oil, gas, eggs, and prescription drugs, all of which are dropping fast after the disaster inherited from sleepy Joe Biden. Other grocery chains must immediately follow the lead of these absolute patriots at Giant Eagle and Walmart. Together, we will make America stronger and make affordable than ever before and get rid of the stench and inflation perpetrated on us by the Democrats and the sleepy Joe Biden administration. I love this. I mean, I go to Giant Eagle. I advise everybody to go to Giant Eagle. It's a very patriotic grocery store. And Walmart, of course. I like Giant Eagle more. They have some really great stuff. And they have kosher stuff. If you keep kosher like I do, they have great kosher stuff. The fact that they're lowering the cost of their products is great. And, we thank them for it. And I don't believe in boycotting anything, but I believe in, I would say, going to one store over the other. I would definitely go to Giant Eagle. I wouldn't go to Giant in Maryland. It's freaking high as hell. Safeway is getting too high. Food Lion is actually pretty good. I like Food Lion in Maryland. Harris Teeter in Maryland is pretty low. But yeah, Giant Eagle and Walmart, those are the places to go to get food and produce and so forth. Hit me with another slide. Sorry, these are all out of order. Okay, and David Harris Jr. So this is actually interesting. So breaking, Melinda Cook, the nurse anesthesiologist who encouraged other healthcare workers to fill syringes with succinylcholine. I'm totally butchering that. Succinylcholine. There you go. A paralyzing agent, and attack ICE has been fired. Good. The fact that she was able to do this is disgusting. Anesthesiologist, guys. A nurse anesthesiologist is doing this. She was putting syringes with a paralyzing agent and attacking ICE with them. Unbelievable. It's people like this that really need to go to jail, not the people that didn't take the vaccines. It's a-holes like this. Disgusting. And she's a pretty girl, so jail's going to look really bad for her. I hope she does go to jail. Firing does nothing. It really doesn't. You got to revoke the license. You got to put them in jail. Remember, no one is above the law. And there was actually a video camera footage of Sunny Houston, who she's part of The View. Her son actually trespassed on private property, and police were coming in to arrest him. And she's like, no, you don't need to do that. We just moved here. My son is new to the area. I'm a federal prosecutor. I'm a former federal prosecutor, as you know. And, she was dropping her credentials. And she was, my son over there, he's a Harvard grad. He's not some vigilante. He's a Harvard grad, and I'm a former federal prosecutor. So she feels because she's a former federal prosecutor and her son is a Harvard grad that it's law for thee and not for me. Her son can trespass and break the law, and that's okay. But if it was somebody else, oh my God. Just because your son is a Harvard grad doesn't mean that he gets special privilege. Just because you're a former federal prosecutor doesn't give you special privilege. I know you want to scream out white privilege, but you looked pretty nervous with those officers. And I know that if, God forbid, the officer would have arrested your son, you would have said, oh, the officer was black, the officer's white, my son's black. He discriminated against my son because he's black. My son is a Harvard grad. He's not a vigilant. I mean, I could just hear the racist spin that she would have put to it. But the fact that she was groveling, and the fact that she threw out that she's a former federal prosecutor and her son's a Harvard grad, why he shouldn't be reprimanded like everybody else, is disgusting. It's really disgusting. If I was the officer, I'd been like, I don't care who you are. Your son broke the law. Peace. I don't care if you're my best friend. Your son broke the law. Again, remember what the Democrats used to scream out about Donald Trump? No one is above the law. Yep. Same thing holds here. So again, also, we are in campaign mode, as you know, and as you saw, I'm a political consultant. I own political consulting from levineconsulting.co. I am working with my good friend Tim Fazenbaker, who is the Republican nominee for Baltimore County District Number 9. He's having an event Thursday, August 6th in Dundalk at Drug City. It's called The Fountain. It's a beautiful room inside Drug City. And we've had events there before with the owner, George Flotus, who loves Tim. And it's a thank you. It's a thank you to all the people that voted for him. It's a thank you to people all over Dundalk. Also, it is a thank you to the business owner, George Flotus, and it's a thank you to business owners all over Dundalk, Sparrows Point, and the entire state of Maryland. Everybody's invited. You don't have to live in the district to come. That's the QR code right there for the event, and we hope to see everybody there. It's going to be a great event. It's a beautiful, intimate room. It sits about 50 people. It's going to be a very private event, but it will be so beautiful, and it'll be decorated nice. And we're going to have food is being catered in. We're looking at a couple places, probably by Deli-ish or another place. Deli-ish is great. Deli-ish is a known business owner who loves Tim and has helped us out in the past. And it's just, it's one of those events that it's a coming together moment for the community. As you know, Tim is very, very close to the community, loves the community. So please, guys, come to this event, donate to him on timfazenmaker.com. That's timfazenmaker.com. And of course, we have Justin Murphy, who is the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate running against the incumbent Cory Booker. This guy's been all over the place. Like, I see him on X. He is all over the place. Every event, he meets up with people. He goes everywhere. He goes to Democrat areas. He is really campaigning hard all over the state. I'm so proud of him. And, he's not just working, to get Republicans to vote for him. He's working to get some independents and Democrats across the aisle as well. So please, guys, go to his website, give him some money. It's very expensive to run a federal race, especially a U.S. Senate race. I mean, he's going up against a guy who's got like millions of dollars in his bank account, and he's an idiot. So please, guys, go and give Justin Murphy some money today. He's an awesome guy, great guy, and he will be an amazing senator. And of course, we have our good friend Damon Galdo of the Jersey Shore, who is the Republican nominee for U.S. Congress in District Number 1. That's the QR code. As you know, Damon Galdo does the Jersey Shore every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. He's also been touring all over the state of New Jersey with Justin, in addition to, of course, working his own district, District 1. And that is one that we want to flip, and we want to give that to Damon. He's got a wonderful family, great children. He's a great family man. And he does a lot. He hosts the Pulse a lot all the time for us. He's always the moderator pretty much. And he's just been kicking butt and doing events and going everywhere. And he's a busy, busy guy. So don't forget to donate to him. And of course, guys, don't forget, we have the Pulse every Wednesday night from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Sometimes we go a little bit over. Oh, I forgot about that too. Bring Kayla Hamilton Justice. That's Tammy Nobles' daughter. She's very close to her goal. Of course, we want to make the goal 100,000. But Kaylee Hamilton was murdered by an illegal alien, and we want justice for Kayla. She didn't deserve what happened to her. And we love her mother, Tammy Nobles. She endorsed Tim Fazenmaker. She's a big fan of him, and hopefully she'll be at the event August 6th. And we love her, and we honor her, and we will honor her daughter. Her daughter, she's actually having a birthday party for her daughter this Sunday, which has to do with this charity, and also with other events she'll have for her daughter in the future. But we love Tammy, and of course our prayers go out to her and the family. But again, guys, don't forget, we have the Pulse every Wednesday night from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Sometimes we have it at 10. You never know who's going to moderate. You never know who's going to be our guest host. Of course, you'll see me again on Thursday night, 8 to 9 p.m. Sometimes I go over. And you'll see me every first and third Tuesday. And of course, don't forget, we have the New Jersey State House every second to fourth to fifth Tuesday of the month with Jack Rangan and Constance Ditzel. And we have our friend Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner. He's on, I think, one Sunday a month from 7 to 8:30 p.m. We love him. We call him Popeye the Sailor Man. He's awesome. And just thanks, guys, for being with us. Thanks, guys, for commenting tonight. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Alexandra, thanks you for watching tonight's Alexandra Levine Live podcast. See you at the next packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you informed. So please click the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you like what the Alexandra talks about, then share the Alexandra Levine Live podcast with others. Alexandra also looks forward to seeing you on the next upcoming episode.